What it do, y'all? This is the Handy Hunk Podcast, episode 4. We got your co-host, co-founders, co-owner, Handy Hunk Bryce, Handy Hunk Shreds, and we got a very, very special guest. And the first guest on the podcast, we got Handy Hunk Matthew. We got Handy Hunk Matthew here, more formally known as Handy Hunk Banger. So we're gonna jump into this podcast. Get Handy Hunk Matthew's story, kind of what his thoughts are on the hunks. He was after Sam and I, he was the first hunk to join the team. So he's been with us now for 2 years, big part of our team, and we're basically going to get his story, get his input on the hunks, just give you guys a kind of another different perspective on the Handy Hunks team. So Matthew, I'll let you take it away. How old are you? Where you came from? What were you doing before you joined the hunks? All that good stuff.
Guys, I'm going to give you the entire rundown on Handy Hunk Banger before he was a Handy Hunk. So I come from the online sales space. So all my online sales goobers know exactly what I'm talking about. I was in the room on the computer. I'm making 100 to 300 dials a day, hitting sets, hitting closes, got KPI going. And I actually worked for a home service business where we would help home service businesses scale. So that's what I was doing right before I was hunking it. And then, guys, I got called up to the big leagues. Shreds told me, Fignati told me, yo, no more sitting behind the computer. We got to get you hands-on in the field. I said, yo, all right, I'm in. So, guys, that's what I was doing shortly before that, shortly before I started hunking it. But I come from the Berg. I'm from Clearwater, guys. I'm a Florida boy for real. These two are not Florida boys. All right, yo, Handy Hunk Banger is a one true Floridian. That's a hunk. Actually, shout out Handy Hunk John. He's a Fort Myers guy, but I'm really from the sticks. I'm from down south, and me and Shreds went to high school together. We were some ballers. We were just absolute weapons, before the cameras, before the pressure washing, before all that. We were really in the field just thugging it. At the gym at 5 a.m. shooting hoops. We had hoop dreams, but check it, we were not nice like that. We've been disciplined. Okay. A lot of our discipline, all three of us sitting here has came from sports growing up. So to all my young men that are playing sports right now in high school and middle school, AAU, you can get right to one day. You can have a bussin' business. Everything you're learning in sports right now applies to the business world. But that's where I'm from. Went to college in St. Petersburg as well. The traditional education route was not so much for me. How do you think you end up in pressure washing and window cleaning, right? You gotta be a little bit crazy. So I took all the education upon myself to learn what I was interested in. And I didn't choose pressure washing and window cleaning, but it chose me. Okay, that's why I'm Soft Wash Goofy Banger. That's why this is Soft Wash Goofy Shreds. This is why Fignati's a window specialist, guys. It chooses you. But that's pretty much the backstory of Banger, man. I'm here now. This is year 3 for me. I'm almost a vet. Started off as a rookie in the game. Shit, I'm here now.
He's here. That was hell of an intro. So obviously, you knew Shreds from, you guys went to high school together. So you guys were kind of boys there. And then obviously Sam and I met in college. So what was your first impression of me?
Guys, I gotta tell you, one of the first times me and Fignati were together, we were at what was that gym? Athletica. We were at an Athletica. I was told, yo, Banger, pull up. Let's hit a leg day with Fignati. All right. I didn't really know much about Fignati. I seen the gram. I said, okay, I know Fignati's dialed. So I show up and I have all heart. I said, you know what? I said, this guy's jacked, but he's not going to outwork me today. I'm here. Guys, I was throwing up at the end of the leg day. I had to have Shreds pull over so I could yak on the side of the road. Okay, so, it's about 3 years ago now, but guys, that was my first impression of Fignati. He absolutely murdered me on a leg day. It was nuts.
That is one of everyone's inaugurations to the Fignati lifestyle. You get put through a workout and they're really put to the test. So obviously, Sam and I were kind of going at it for a year prior to you joining, and you and Sam obviously have been close since high school talking, and Sam was kind of giving you the game. What did you Like, what did you think what was your first impression of the Handy Hunks? Like, whenever Sam started saying, yo, this is starting to take off, like, it's blowing up. Like, what were your thoughts before you even joined?
Guys, before I joined, even though he's telling me about it, I really couldn't envision what it was. He's just telling me, he says, yo, I'm out here slaving. And I was like, yo, I'm out here slaving too. I said, we're all out here just working. I didn't really know what it was, but the first year that I joined, wow, man. I mean, it was a wake-up call. Guys, I go from working on my computer in my room, and I'm working 8 hours a day, but I'm in the AC, taking lunch whenever I want. I got my hydration next to me all day, and then I'm out in the field. I'm in the sun. I'm pressure washing. I'm window cleaning. I have no mitts. I have no idea what I'm doing. And we're running a real business here, and Banger just gets thrown in the field. So I really didn't know what to expect, but I was just all heart from the jump, guys.
He was all heart. Sam, why did you think Banger would be a good fit?
I thought Banger would be a good fit because, I knew he had mitts. We just had to get the mitts to him. And I knew his work ethic. I knew he wanted to make money. And I knew he obviously fit the image of a handy hunk, as we try to do here at our corporation. So when you fill out your applications and, they get sent to corporate, they look at that stuff.
Yeah.
So Banger, I just knew we had common interests. He wanted to make money. He wanted to grind. I was like, dude, we can grow this thing. It'll be easier with 3 people than 2 people, and get some more, manpower behind the machines. So that was kind of my thought why Banger would fit the squad well.
Did you think he would turn into the soft wash goofy he is today?
I did not know he would be soft wash goofy Banger, but he did it. So yeah,
he did it.
Banger's on the team.
Banger, do you remember your first job? Or your first memory of your first job that pops in your head?
My first job. Guys, one of my first jobs was actually one of Fake Natty's neighbors. It was a house that's right behind us, and it was a lanai cleaning. Mm. And I knew I was fried when we walk in there and we're talking about, let's move all the furniture off the lanai so we can clean it. I mean, we got tables with 6 chairs. We have rugs. We have the lounge chairs. Guys, that was one of my first jobs, and I had no mitts. I had no idea what I was doing. The pressure washer felt so foreign to me. While I was attempting to hit the rinse, Shreds ended up taking the pressure washer from me like 6 times because he just couldn't watch me do it. It was bad. It was really bad. But guys, I knew I just needed reps. I was telling Shreds, I said, pass me the rock. I said, I know it's going to be terrible for you to sit here and watch me do something that you could do way quicker. But I said, guys, I know if I just have the reps, I'll be able to do it. So to all my business owners out there that want employees, but they don't trust them, guys, as the owner, you have to trust your employees that they will grow into the person that they need to be for your business, but you have to trust them. So it's going to feel scary when you're letting someone else do the job that you know how to do it the right way, you know how to do it fast, efficient, the customer is going to be happy. So that part of you wants to take over and do the job for them. But your employee will never get the experience they need from just watching you. Unfortunately, as a business owner, you need to let your guys do the work. And if they make a mistake, you take ownership for their mistake and you learn with them and grow with them. But as a business owner, you're never going to be able to get out of the field unless you can have people you can trust to do the job. So the pro of that is eventually you get out of the field. The cons or the negatives are there's going to be a few hiccups. There's going to be a few hard conversations with customers saying, hey, I got this guy in training. I'm sorry he didn't do a good job. We're going to fix it. Okay, there's been times I've messed up. Fake Natty's had to cover me. Shreds has had to cover me. There's been times where I've been training guys and I have to cover them. And guess what? I don't blame it on them. We take ownership forgot we were going with that, but business owners, tap in, man. Trust your employees, trust the guys that you want to work with you.
No, that's a really good way to put it, because also it was Sam and I's first time bringing on someone new. Like, we already had a year under our belt, so we just kind of knew the flow of things, how things worked, and we didn't realize how foreign it is to someone who's never been in the pressure washing or window cleaning game. Because Sam and I, we were there when we first started. We had no idea what we were doing. And like we said in previous podcasts, it took so many trial and error for us to finally get our groove down, understand how to do jobs, how to work our machines, that kind of thing. And then when you bring someone on, you kind of forget that. You kind of expect them to be almost on your level, but then you have to realize, this is a whole new language to someone coming in. So you do have to be patient, but that is a growing pain that you have to go through as a business owner if you do want to grow. Because if we didn't bring on Matthew, Sam and I would still be doing all the jobs, and it would limit us in other places where we could be expanding our businesses, going out to give estimates, talking to new potential clients. Matthew frees up a lot of time for us to go do that. So it's extremely important to, be patient with your new guys. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, it is the process of building a business. You do have to teach people, put them under your wing, let them get reps in. Because, and from when Matthew started to now, it's night and day. And then, we've brought on new guys, and you got to train them up. It takes months for people to develop a new skill. So you just have to keep putting them out there, keep putting them in the field, and like Matthew said, let them cook, feed them the rock.
Guys, to build off of what Fake Natty is saying, as a business owner, you need to have discernment in the people you're hiring. At one point, guys, we had 11 people on payroll, and just none of them really wanted to get better at what they were doing. They were just here to make money. And we were like, oh my gosh, we're slammed, we're swamped with work. We want the extra help, but we didn't fully have the discernment. Our discernment was still growing in that area to be able to tell, who's really down to grind with us and who's just here for a paycheck. So what they say about hire fast and fire faster is true. Okay. So don't be afraid to bring guys on, but you need to be able to tell whether this person is down for the ride and they're really trying to grow and get better and possibly make a career out of it, or if they're just showing up for a paycheck. And it shows in a bunch of different ways. It shows in their attitude. It shows in how they react when you tell them to do something.
They show up on time.
If they show up on time.
Consistently. If they wear their uniform mostly. Shout out Cam. All right, Cam don't wear his uniform, but guess what? That's where discernment as a business owner, we say, okay, our employee Cam, he's a hunk. He don't want to wear a shirt. And guess what? We're hunks, so we're fine with that. But guess what? Cam shows up every day, shows up on time, except if we have to go to the East Coast, bro. Cam don't want to show up for the East Coast, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Cam, we love you, bro. But I say all that to say, as a business owner, there is no black and white area. It's all gray. I wish I could give you a perfect checklist for how to know who to hire, but you just have to feel it.
Yeah, that's cool that you said that, because like he was saying, at one point we had 9 or 10 guys on our team. And it's cool, you people ask, oh, how many guys are on your team? Then you say a nice double-digit number. Oh, yeah, we got 10, 11 guys. It feels good. It feels cool. But at the end of the day, we were doing that for maybe a month or two, and we realized that we were probably spending more money on the guys than actually making money. And at the end of the day, as a business, you want to make more than you spend, obviously. But, for example, we've had Matthew now for about 3 years, and we know that he's down for the grind. We told him from the jump, we're in this to grind. We gotta trust the process, and we gotta keep showing up. And we got Matthew, who's done that with us for years now, and then we brought on John and Cam, who've done the same thing now for almost a year. They've just been down to grind. They see our vision, they trust the process, and that's huge. I think that's more valuable than having 10+ staff organization. You want to have people that see the vision, you're on the same page, and they're just here to grind. But
guys, to build off that, 20% of the employees will do 80% of the work. Okay, so I know we're not a large organization yet, but we have refined. Okay, when we had 10 guys on, there was maybe 3 guys doing most of the work, and the other 7 guys are kind of just there standing around. They're doing the 20%. Okay, so when you have guys that you know that are good, keep them around. But if you have people that you know are a part of the 80% that are only doing 20% of the work, getting 20% of the outcome, let them go. They're better somewhere else.
Yep, exactly, 100%. So, all right, now I'm going to ask, so obviously we're all friends. You guys went to high school together, we're good friends. Matthew and I met in college and have become very good friends, but obviously we all still work together. And prior to that, you've had a handful of jobs working for other people that aren't quote unquote your friends. But so what are your thoughts on working with some of your good friends?
Guys, it's true what they say, that when you go into business with your friends, it changes your relationship. Okay, and so how you want to view that is dependent on who you are and who your friends are. Okay, so me and Shreds, we used to be bots, and it used to be a very lighthearted relationship. We're always just clowning, having fun, hitting the gym. And now when you go into business together, there's something that's above both of your own wants and desires. So at first, me and Shreds just wanted to hit gym, wanted to kick it, wanted to clown. And then we say, hey, we're going to go into business together. We're going to run this thing up. When you do that, the relationship changes because now it's a lot more serious. And now that accountability factor is there. And now you got to have tough conversations with your friends. And now you got to tell your friends, yo, let's stay down until we come up. Let's not pay ourselves all that much money. Let's reinvest it all back into the business. And if you guys aren't careful, egos get in the way. Egos can destroy a friendship. But guess what? Like I said, me and Shreds really came from the trenches. We were really in the gym together at 5 a.m. every morning. We really have had the accountability card set for years. If it's like, yo, I need you to do something, I know my boy will come through for me because he told me he would. So it's all about establishing a real friendship. I mean, when I met Fig Natty, I knew he was on the same wave. I knew that his word was good for it, and I wanted to prove to him that my word was good for it too. So relationships can change along the way, but if you do it right, it changes for the better. And now you have a deeper and more intimate relationship with your friends than you ever would have if you guys never went into business together. Shreds, how did our relationship change over time?
Okay, so our relationship, it obviously changes once, you go from being friends to now you're working together. Then we were living together. Then we got to be in the same truck, and it's, one person's, running a few minutes late. You're like, come on, let's go. There's just like a lot of factors, but it definitely changes for the better because at the end of the day, you're in business together, and now you're growing in another part of your life where you weren't previously growing at. You might have just been working a job, or, you might have not been trying to set yourself up for the future, but now everyone has a deeper understanding the reason why we do these things and why we have to show up on time. And yes, there's going to be long days, and yeah, we might not be paying ourselves a ton right now, but there's reasons for that. And the reasons for that is so we can grow to where we want to be 5, 10, 15 years down the line. And so that's where those sacrifices are made.
To build off that, one of the biggest things you learn in sports is if you're going to win together, you're going to lose together. This isn't about anyone making the most money. This isn't about who's the best. It's about none of that. This is a real team. Real teams have real players that play real parts, and not all parts are the same, okay? On a basketball court, everyone has their own position, and everyone needs to play their role to the best of their ability, with no one's role being better than anyone else's. Okay, so when the Hunks win, we win together, and it's not because of any one person. And when we lose together, it's not because of any one person. Okay, so if you have a team out there, if you're the owner, don't treat your employees like they're any less than you. And if you're an employee, don't feel like you're any less than the owner. Okay, you have a role to play, and as owners, we cannot run the business we've run without employees that play such an important role. And as employees, they wouldn't have a job if we didn't play our role the same way. So everyone, it's an even playing field all around, and just building a team culture is the most important thing.
Yeah. And what I would say on that, because obviously Sam and I started being friends in college, and we were friends for about 2 or 3 years until we started this business. And also just kind of tying into that, whenever you're hanging out previously for business, you're just hanging out for enjoyment, whether it's working out, going to the beach, going on the boat, you're just kicking it. It's pretty much always a good time. But then whenever you join and you're with them on business, you gotta talk about stuff you don't want to talk about. There's things that need to get done when you don't want to get them done. People are asking each other for favors when you don't want to do them, but it has to get done. And then when you do that over and over again, it just becomes annoying, honestly. But you have to realize that that's a part of business. And I think it's honestly special what we have, because I think you can have those conversations and then, people might get upset with each other, but then you remember that we're all boys, and before we even started this, we all had each other's backs previously. So whenever someone does get on someone for doing something wrong, it's cool. People might just do their own thing for a minute, but we know we're all boys at the end of the day. Versus if we weren't boys, someone could get on someone, then someone takes it personal, and then that's when shit breaks up. But we're lucky that us three here are on the same mission. We see where this could go, and we all want to get there together. So,
yes. And then I think this also comes down to communication and just seeing the bigger vision. All these things, all the tough conversations you might have, or people might say, don't go into business with your friends because if something happens, then you're going to lose that friend or your friendship. It's a bunch of BS. It's the greatest thing that you can do. And when it comes down to tough conversations or whatever it might be, or how you think you should grow the business in this area, money here, money there, should we spend it, on this, or is it better used hiring another employee? It's as simple as having conversations. It's a simple conversation. If I see a problem, Matthew sees a problem, Bryce sees a problem, you bring it up. I'll give my 2 cents on it. Matthew will give his 2 cents. Bryce will give his 2 cents, and we'll figure out how to attack the game plan from there. And it's all comes down to communication. Because I might see something they don't see, and they might give me a different perspective on my point of view. Vice versa, they might give I can give them different perspectives on different things, and then we say, you know what? Well, this is the number one thing that makes sense right now. This is what we should take action on, and then you resolve the bottleneck from there. But communication.
Shout out Ripper. Guys, you have to remember what a privilege it is to be doing business. If you're a business owner and you're able to keep your business afloat and pay your guys and pay your bills, whether you're at $5K a month, $100K a month, you have to remember how truly grateful you are that you're in this position. Me and Shreds used to sit in the car for 45 minutes before the gym and just talk about one day we're going to do something big. I know Shreds and Fig Natty have had those talks. All three of us have had those talks about where we want to go and what we're going to do. So even in the times when there's a disagreement, even in the times when it gets hard, if you remember what a privilege it is to be going through this hard season with your friends. Guys, we used to really be working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. And the best part was when you come back home and just talk about how hard of a day it was and how fried you are and how you're just going to go get it done tomorrow. So remember what a privilege it is. Shout out Ripper.
Yeah. Just waking up every day together, putting your war suit on and going to battle. With your boys, man, I mean, no matter what you do, it's going to be a grind. Whether you're in corporate America, you go into a business solo, it's going to be a grind. So we kind of look at it and say, we might as well do it with our close boys, people who got the same headspace, people who don't have an ego, who, want to do it for each other. And I think that's huge. I think that contributes to a lot of our success and a lot of us just sticking together because, a lot of times I know all three of us have been like, should we be doing this here or should we even be doing this business? It's a lot of stress. the grass is always going to be greener, and two, it's a grind. You gotta do it for your boys. A big thing whenever I don't want to do something, I'm like, I'm gonna do it for these boys. So,
guys, there's something special in being obedient to something that's bigger than yourself, bigger than your own wants and your own will. When you don't feel like showing up, exactly like Fig Natty said, when you don't feel like showing up for yourself, it's showing up for the people that are closest to you. So guys, we got a brotherhood here, okay? If I don't feel like showing up, it's not just letting myself down. It's not something that I could keep quiet. If I let myself down, I'm also letting my guys down. Okay? So surround yourself with people that you just will not let down no matter what. No matter how bad you don't want to do something, no matter how bad Shreds doesn't want to hit the cut, no matter how bad Banger doesn't want to hit the cut, guess what, bro? Me and Shreds aren't going to let Fig Natty down because it's bigger than us. It's bigger than the Hunks. It's bigger than Banger. It's bigger than Shreds. It's bigger than Fig Natty. Guys, we're building something special here.
How do we separate work from friendship?
Guys, here's the real secret. We don't. It's all work and it's all friendship. Once that line is crossed of strictly friendship and strictly business partners, the boundaries essentially go away. Guys, in our free time, when we're out on the boat spearfishing, when we're out on the boat taking a stroll, if we go out to the bar and we're having a few drinks, that's our friendship time. But guess what we're talking about? Business. And guess what? Everyone wants to talk about it. That's everyone's lives here. So when you work for yourself, everything is work, but also none of it's work because it's what you want to do. It's what you love.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, and I was just going to say, like, it's also not that deep. Like, I feel like this whole topic, whenever you do go into business with whatever relatives or close friends, people are like, oh, how do you separate it? And I'm just like, it's not that deep. Like, and that, like Matthew was saying, we want to talk about business. We want to talk how we can grow this operation because we're all fully invested. And that's why we all hang around each other, because we all know we bring each other up. We inspire each other. So if someone was completely off on a different page and didn't want to grow the business, they probably wouldn't be a part of it. But we all want to do it. So that's what we're also going to talk about. Yeah, whenever we're going out on the boat, having drinks, and then we're also just clowning with each other the whole time. So I would say it's just really not that deep.
It's not that deep. Shreds is in a position where, I can clown these two a lot. I rage bait these two because they both got girlfriends and I don't. So, that's part of my friendship with them is they know they're just going to get rage baited. And it's just, I enjoy it. I laugh. They laugh. It's just funny. But then too, also, it's like, and we've had this discussion too, like how we had 10, 11 guys at one point. It got too messy. And like Banger said, you got to find out who's really wanting to work, who really wants to grind. So now we cut our team down into half of that, and we got a solid group of guys. And me, as one of the owners, I know Fig Natty probably feels the same way. And I've been telling my guys this is I'd rather be a smaller company and all of you are able to, succeed a lot more or make a lot more money because we're small and you're grinding. We keep the money between, all of our guys who are willing to work hard versus having 10 guys and people are just showing up for a paycheck and then they're not really wanting to learn. They're not putting the extra effort. So then you just end up doing the job anyways, whoever's, trained on site and up to speed. So that's what's special about, being in business with these guys and, business relationship and friendship relationship. It's all tied in together and, and the bigger understanding of why we want to grow this business and why we want to succeed is, more than ourselves. It's for our future families. It's for, things we want to do in life, trips we want to take, stuff like that. So
to build off that, it comes down to having a shared vision between everyone. Because if everyone's not sharing the same vision, then there's going to be discrepancies about what the course of the business should be, what the day-to-day should look like. When everyone shares the same vision, that ultimately is not their own. It's a vision it's a collective of all of our visions together. When that vision is shared, everyone's on the same page, and that's how teams are cohesive, and that's how teams can build and grow in a very effortless manner. Okay, so if you're a company out there and you feel like, dude, my guys just don't want it, my guys don't understand the opportunity that we have in front of us, maybe as the business owner, you should take fault in that and say, hey, maybe my guys don't understand what I understand. Maybe they don't see what I see. Maybe if they understood what I understood, they would also bring a different attitude towards what we do every day. So we tell our guys what we're doing, where we're going. That way everyone's on the same page. And so when we ask a lot out of our guys, they can come through for us because they know what's on the other side of this.
100%. What do you think the biggest advantage is of doing business with people who you trust?
The biggest advantage is, honestly, I just think it's more fun. Like, even when we didn't have this business, me and Banger were working at, busting tables, bar backing at restaurants back home in St. Pete, and it was just more fun to do it, to go to work with your boys, with your friends, than it was to not go. Or if you had a solo shift and your boy wasn't on schedule, you're like, oh, this is so boring. And even me and Bryce, we were bar backing here, even when we were, I would say, had some pretty good success. We were still grinding and working the night shift at a popular bar here on Marco Island, but kind of just stay down until you come up and realize that if you really want something, you got to put in a lot of work for it, and it's more fun to put in a lot of work with your boys than to not, and to have to do it solo. Makes it easier.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing about working with your homies, working with your brothers, is that the fear of failure almost completely diminishes because you're supported. You're with your ride or dies. You're with your guys, that it's like, we're either going to come all the way up together, and even if we don't, say we end up homeless, I got my guys. Okay, so yes, it's more fun. I mean, guys, going into business with your friends it's almost all positives. Okay? You get closer with your homie, y'all gain more trust in each other, you gain more trust in yourself, and the fear of failure, which is the thing that holds most people back, completely goes away. Because guess what? Just because you're afraid, you got boys that are going to not let you be afraid. They're going to say, yo, you need to step up. They're going to pull you up out from the trenches and say, yo, this is where we're going. And the beautiful part is if the positions ever flip and they're acting scared, if they're not sure, you get to pull your homie back up out of the trenches and say, bro, we got this.
Yeah. And what I would say the biggest advantage of going into business with people you trust, you also have to be on the same vision, and you have to develop that vision over time. So obviously I started first just window cleaning before the Handy Hunks, and I would slowly bring on Sam, and he kept showing up. And, that just shows you that, okay, he's with the shits, he's with the vision, he wants to keep doing this. That's huge. So then that trust, it develops over time. It doesn't happen just right there, then and there. And also with Matthew, before he started, we, constantly asked him, we're going to stay down till we come up. It's going to be a grind. We got some success going on now. Are you sure you want to be a part of this? And same thing. He just kept showing up. And that trust was just built over time. And now it's been 3 years. We're all still on the same vision, chasing the same thing. So, it definitely takes time, and you only want to bring people in who you develop that trust with. And also, if you do go into business with your friends, you want to ensure that you guys are on the same page, because, it can ruin friendships. Not in this case, but, everyone's heard stories of it. But you just want to ensure, you don't want to make a decision overnight and be like, yeah, he seems like I can trust him. It's got to be built up. So that's what I would say about that.
Guys, and to add on that, we were building that trust before the business was ever started. I mean, you build that trust with your boy when you're just hitting the gym, when you see how he trains, when you see what his life actually looks like. And it's like, okay, why were Shreds and Fig Natty training together? They were two people in a college of thousands of people that recognized each other and recognized a hard work ethic, a similar mindset. So you can determine these things before ever going into business. And I think that's why they knew I would be a good fit, because I was on the same wavelength as them. So there are signs before you go into business with someone if they're going to be a good fit for you. So just keep your dome pieces dialed, guys.
Why do you think us three, John, Cam, Ripper, why do you think all of us are so bought into this mission that we're on?
I think the vision is contagious. Okay. So I'll be honest, when I first started, these guys were already a year in. They had a vision that was more advanced than the vision that I could even comprehend. Their mind was sharper. Their mind was more attuned to the possibilities. They had a greater level of awareness of what was going on than me, so they knew where they could go. Guys, at first, I didn't have a vision. If I'm being honest, I said, all I know is I'm a disciplined person. I'm going to keep showing up. This is hard work, but I'm going to keep showing up. And then if I'm really being honest, it wasn't till the start of my second year or partway through my second year that I feel like a veil was lifted off my face, and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like going to these guys, telling them about the opportunity we have, and they're like, yeah, we know. Like, we know. We've been telling you this. And so the same thing with our other guys. I mean, I think they are at the point now where they see the vision as well, but you have to give people time to adjust and time to let their awareness catch up and see enough things to know that what we're saying isn't just crazy, and to see it for themselves. So I think over time, everyone's awareness kind of expands. Everyone's belief expands. I mean, when you're around people that are speaking so highly of their future, when they're speaking so highly of the possibility we have in front of them, it starts to rub off on you, even if you don't believe it even if you don't believe it at first. And when we started bringing guys in, we had a conversation around, there is no negative talk. There is no, this sucks. Oh, this job is fried, X, Y, and Z. And we still have kept that to this day, no complaining. Because what you put out, I mean, it goes around and it comes back. So with all of our guys, we've always kept a positive attitude. We've always spoke highly of where we're going and what we're doing. And I think it rubs off on them, and they eventually begin to see it for themselves.
Yeah, and I also just think our brand is something that I know us three just stress. Just young guys trying to make a name for themselves, getting after it every single day, being jacked, living in a beautiful place, having a barndominium on the way, just a warehouse garage. Like, that's the dream that we looked up to before we started this business, and that's still what we're chasing. And I just think it's contagious as well. Other people want to be a part of that lifestyle. People want to grind with their boys. I don't know. So many people tell me, what you got going on is so cool. You're just grinding with your boys. You're not in the matrix. You're not climbing the corporate ladder, working for a big dog who you never see. It's just owner, operator, small business. See what it turns into. Wake up, grind every day, put your mind to the test. As a young man, I think that's very attractive, and I think that's what brings our brand and our culture so attractive to people wanting to work for us, and people working for us, and people sticking with us.
Yeah, this is a good topic that I like. As Banger said, it's contagious, and essentially the reason why it's contagious, I'll just bring up like the Instagram meme, like how Fake Daddy was talking about a warehouse with, your truck, your sports car, and a gym, a basketball hoop, and, your boys living there, mattress on the floor. Like, that's essentially what we are doing. And that's why all of us can relate and be on the same page. It's like, oh my gosh, like, all the boys are just grinding together, and like, we have this business, but we can also just do cool stuff together. And we all all have similar interest, and the employees see it from maybe a different side that us owners see it from, but they see the progress that has happened in just a year with our headquarters building going up. And then because we be talking about it a lot, but then when you actually see it, like, oh, these boys are actually doing it. Like, next year when we show up to work, it is going to be different. We're going to have our own office. We're going to be wasting less time. Work is going to become more efficient. I'm going to have more time to upsell jobs, and just stuff like that. So everyone can kind of see the vision, and yeah, that's kind of what I got to say.
Yo, and look, winners win, okay? And as a leader, your role of a leader is not determined by how bussin' you are. It's determined by what you can cultivate and what you can pull out of other people. So it's not how bussin' I am, it's how bussin' can I get my guys? How good can I get my guys? How strong can I get their belief? So as an owner, as a leader, it's not, yo, can you go drop 30? Okay. It's, can you be on the sidelines and make call outs and do the things that other people need to be successful? How much can you help someone else be successful? And that is the measure at which your leadership is determined.
Yeah. Pretty much what that is the Handy Hunk standard. Is, if I'm not showing up every day looking like Mr. Handy Hunk, I don't expect these guys to. Or why should they? They don't have someone to look up to. If I'm not showing up every day in uniform, why would they? And that goes for them too, and our guys as well. If your leaders aren't the ones who are doing the stuff that you want to do, then why would the other guys do it? So we have a standard. Obviously, us three have been in it for the longest, so we always show up in uniform. We're working out. We're fitting the image. We're being handy hunks. So we can pass that image down to people that are coming in, people who are just new to working for us, and people who want to join our team. We have to keep that image up and keep pushing it so you can lead by example.
Guys, the word of the day is discernment, okay? When I first started working, it's not because I was fake natty level shredded, okay? It's because it's the ability to see something in someone when maybe they don't even see it themselves, and just knowing that they can get there. It's like being a coach. You see a young, prosperous talent, and although he may not be where he needs to be yet, you say, okay, I know if I bring him within the program, I know if I get him on this set of protocols, this guidelines, this kid is going to prosper. This person is going to prosper. And it's also, as a leader, it's having grace on that person to give them truly the time that they need to grow into that. I mean, guys, me and Shreds are years in, and we're not fake natty level status, okay? But fake natty has been showing us grace. He knows we're gonna get there. He trusts us. He's not casting us out because we're not there yet. He's just letting us grow within the program, guys. So let your own people grow within your own program, and have the ability, have the discernment to see good qualities in other people and help them grow.
Yeah. You got to push each other. At the end of the day, that's all it comes down to, is pushing each other. Because like I was saying, if I didn't hold this standard, if we didn't hold this standard, then no one's pushing each other. If I fell off and I was in Mr. Handy Hunk, Shreds calls me psycho all the time for looking the way I do, working out the way I do. But at the end of the day, it translates. It shows on our social media, our interaction, all that kind of stuff. People say we really are hunks, That's what we do. That's our standard. So if I wasn't showing up every day, Mr. Handy Hunk, shredded to the bone, I couldn't call myself hunks. I couldn't name this company, this brand, Handy Hunks. But we're sticking true to our morals, our standards, all that kind of stuff, because that's our mission. And our mission is going to take us to the next level. It's going to allow us to keep leveling up, because it all starts with your body. It all starts with your physique. If you have your physique and your mind sharp, it's going to translate into business. And then you got to think as your business, as another physique as well. It's got to be sharp, because the more sharp it is, the more efficient it's going to operate. And when it's operating at an efficient level, it's going to slowly level up over time. And it takes time. It takes years. From year 1 to we're going on year 4 now. There's been some huge differences, only for the better. We have more trucks, more equipment, more firepower. We understand systems better. We have service plans rolling out. We got that HQ done in a couple months. It's just steady upward progress. So that's the main thing.
And guys, having someone that's operating at a very high level, like Fig Natty, if Fig Natty were to call me and Shreds out about our eating habits, about our trading habits, guess what? That's also what's a beautiful part about going into business with your friends, is when you get called out by your friends, you have no option. You can't argue with them. When you share the same vision and deep down, they're right. I do need to get to the job earlier. I do need to be better about this. I do need to be better about X, Y, and Z. When you're faced with that, you have no choice but to grow. It's forced growth out of everyone. So if everyone's maintaining a certain standard within our business and we call someone out for not maintaining that standard, they have no other option but to grow into that, because that's the maintained level. Fig Natty, Dice, sub 10%. If he says, you guys need to be better, what am I going to say? No. Am I going to think he's being too hard? It's like, no, we share the same vision. I'm on the same page as him. He's pulling me up. He's not talking down to me. He's pulling me up saying, Banger, I know you can be better. Shreds, I know you can be better. Guys, when we have to travel to the East Coast, Fig Natty was trying to leave at 6 a.m. I said, Fig Natty, let's leave at 5 a.m. He said, bet, no questions asked. Didn't even care. Showed up early. Savage shit right there.
That's how we get it done. All right, we're going to wrap this one up. Banger, if you could describe Handy Hunks in one sentence to someone who's never heard of us, what would you say?
Authentic. We're real. This is a real business started in a real neighborhood. Real college kids that just didn't really want to go into the workforce. I mean, this is the epitome of the time we're in, our culture, of just starting something from nothing and growing into something beautiful. I mean, everything about the Hunks is real, guys. I mean, we think we know what we're doing, okay? And in 5 years, we're going to look back and say we had no idea what we were doing. We look back from where we started and we say, hey, we were just starting out. But authentic.
If I had to describe the Hunks in a sentence, I would just say young, hard-working men just trying to make a name for themselves and who are willing to put in the work.
100%. Authenticity is what got us here today. You guys see it in all our posts, all our social media. That's how we started this business. Like we said, Sam and I started this business prior to us being Handy Hunks. We were posting shirtless fitness content online. Like, that was just what we did. And that's just what we did. And then I started window cleaning, and Sam and I were like, how can we tie these two together? And we did exactly that. We stayed working out, we stayed shirtless, and we just started window cleaning and power washing. We stayed true to ourselves, authentic, and now we can build a brand that's, one, good looking, and two, we have pride in it because we like the brand that we're working for. Because at the end of the day, we do it for that guy right there every single day, Mr. Handy Hunk himself. So, but any other closing remarks, guys?
Closing remarks, guys. I just read something that was powerful, and it's those who endure till the end will be rewarded. Okay, so it's not about 3 years in business. It's not about this year. A lot of guys say, oh, I'm doing good, but I don't know how much longer I can do this, like X, Y, and Z. It's just not working out right now, or maybe it is working out right now. But the truth is, it's not about right now. It's about those who will endure to the end. And who knows what the end looks like, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing to be patient and persevere through the hard times, because you know that good times are coming. And when you're sitting on a good time, don't be on your high horse, because low times could be coming. But just know that those who really stick it out to the end, who trust in their wisdom, trust in their knowledge, trust in their work ethic, those are the ones that are going to be rewarded to the highest degree. So I say that to say this: the Hunks are standing on business. We're not going nowhere. We're staying here till the end, and we were here from the jump. Handy Hunks, checking out.
Hundo P, baby. That's Handy Hunk Podcast, episode 4. We had Handy Hunk Banger on. Got some good wisdom, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.